One of Nigeria's numerous challenges. While the nation has battled insurgency and terrorism in the northeast for almost 15 years, economic activities have been greatly affected by vandals in the south-south, and while secessionists have crippled developments in the southeast. Perhaps the most worrisome is the challenge posed by terrorists who are on rampage across all geopolitical zones of the country, kidnapping and making the nation's highways impossible to travel on. Despite these challenges, Nigeria's defense chief says allegations that any territory in the country is under the control of insurgents is false.
The reality is that the northeast, region, especially Borno State, it's a lot has changed. In fact, life is almost normal in Borno State. That I can tell you. So it's not a claim. It is what exists. I believe that you have correspondents in Maiduguri. Perhaps you may want to, have a check back on them. So there is no control of any part of Borno State at all. That I can tell you. But of course, those criminal elements are not completely out of circulation, and that's why we still have, large presence of military in those areas. But what we, are doing is to ensure that the last mile issues connected to it are redressed, and then also bringing in and scaling up the presence of not just the police, but of course Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, for them to gradually begin to take the center stage in terms of normal security provisioning, in the light of the successes we've recorded.
Although questions have been raised about the morale of troops participating in theater operations, the Chief of Defense Staff debunked allegations of inadequate welfare of members of the armed forces.
At the beginning of the year, I assured Nigerians as to what the military and other security agencies will be doing. Now, between that time and now, there have been massive deployment of equipment and material to the Northeast. That's why Northeast currently is silent. That's why the governor, in his recent pronouncement, made mention of, peace that has largely returned to the state. And in his words, that he, in fact, he sleeps, with his eyes closed 85% of the time, and I think that's the expression that he made, and is quite vocal about that. And not just him, but I've had calls from well-meaning citizens of Borno who, of course, have commended the military for what they have done.
The CDS also says theater operations in the South-South have led to safe transport in the nation's waterways, while the activities of vandals and economic saboteurs have been significantly reduced.
The Navy, within the last year and a half, have been able to maintain a clean maritime environment, especially when you're talking about the shipping lanes, such that currently you do not have any reports of piracy and all the likes. But of course, there are problems that have to do with crude oil theft, vandalism of the pipelines and other associated issues, which we are dealing with in concert with other members of the defense and security agencies. So, so far, so good. And even though there's still, a long haul, but then, I must say that quite a lot of improvement has been made.
Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the CDS tasked stakeholders to pursue political resolutions to issues plaguing the country. He is also optimistic that Nigerians across the country will be able to go out and cast their votes in a secured atmosphere.
We believe, and I'd like to assure you and assure Nigerians, that the election 2023 will be conducted under a secure atmosphere. That's a guarantee that I want to leave with you on this interview and for Nigerians. That certainly is what we are working very closely with. We've mapped out our plans along with the police and other security agencies, and we're escalating all our operational engagement to ensuring that we provide security guarantees that will enable INEC and of course all those the stakeholders who are engaged in that exercise, which is a national exercise that the whole world is looking up to Nigeria for, that it will be conducted under a secured environment. That is a guarantee, and we are working very assiduously to ensuring that.
Nigeria's armed forces are presently involved in theater operations across all geopolitical zones of the country, and despite the myriads of challenges plaguing these operations, the defense chief says he's optimistic that unfettered peace will return to the country soonest.